I'm very excited to talk to you today because what I'm about to share with you is something I believe can change yours too. And today, I want to talk to you about something called 5 signs you're more stressed than you think. Stress is one of those things that sneaks into your life quietly. It doesn't walk through the front door loudly announcing itself. It slips in slowly, silently, unnoticed, until one day you realize you don't feel like yourself anymore. But most people never reach that point of awareness. They go months, sometimes years, carrying stress they don't even realize they've collected. Today, I want to walk you through 5 signs that you are far more stressed than you think you are. These aren't the obvious signs, like anger, frustration, or crying. These are the hidden ones, the ones that eat you from the inside out without making noise, the ones that silently shape your personality, your energy, your decisions, and even your future. Because the truth is simple: stress doesn't just change your day, it changes who you are becoming. Let's start with the first sign, which is one of the easiest to overlook: mental fog and forgetfulness. You think stress means being overwhelmed or panicked, but often it shows up as something much simpler. Your mind just doesn't work the way it used to. You walk into a room and forget why you came. You open your phone and forget what you were about to search. You read the same sentence 3 times and still can't remember what it said. You're not losing intelligence. You're not becoming lazy. You're stressed. When your body is under constant pressure, your brain prioritizes survival, not memory. And survival mode shuts down creativity, clarity, deep thinking, and focus. That's why you find yourself zoning out randomly, feeling disconnected, or struggling to concentrate on even the simplest tasks. This isn't a lack of discipline, it's your brain signaling that you've been running on empty for too long. Stress eats mental sharpness slowly, like waves eroding the shore. You don't notice it day by day, but one morning you wake up and feel like your mind is wrapped in fog, heavy, slow, and tired. That fog is stress whispering, you need rest more than you need productivity. The second sign you're more stressed than you think is the constant feeling of tiredness, even when you sleep. Stress doesn't just drain your mind, it drains your body. Many people think fatigue means you're working hard, but there's a difference between physical tiredness and stress exhaustion. Physical tiredness disappears after rest. Stress exhaustion stays, even if you sleep 8, 10, or 12 hours. You lie down exhausted, and you wake up exhausted. You drag yourself out of bed with no motivation. You feel like your energy is trapped under a weight you can't lift. That's not laziness. That's not lack of ambition. That is stress interfering with your hormones, your sleep cycle, and your nervous system. When your mind is overloaded, it doesn't let your body enter deep restorative sleep. Your brain stays half alert throughout the night, preparing for danger that doesn't exist. So you wake up unrefreshed, as if you didn't sleep at all. Stress makes your body feel heavier, your movements slow down, even small tasks feel like climbing a mountain, and you start drinking more caffeine, scrolling more, escaping more, not because you're irresponsible, but because your body is desperately trying to borrow energy it no longer has. Chronic stress turns life into a constant battle between what you need to do and what your body can handle. The third hidden sign of stress is emotional numbness. Most people think stress makes you emotional, fragile, or reactive, but an even stronger indicator is when you feel nothing at all. You stop getting excited about things you used to enjoy. Music doesn't feel the same. Food doesn't taste the same. You don't laugh as easily. You don't cry even when you want to. You feel disconnected from everything, including yourself. This numbness is your mind's last attempt to protect you. When your emotions are overloaded, the brain tries to mute the entire system. It's a survival mechanism, not healthy, not ideal, but natural. And this emotional dullness is more dangerous than sadness because it convinces you that nothing matters. And once you believe nothing matters, you stop fighting, you stop trying, you stop caring. The world feels gray, flat, distant. Even your relationships feel heavier because you can't connect with people the way you want to. Stress doesn't just make you feel too much, sometimes it makes you feel nothing at all. The fourth sign is increased irritation and low patience, even over small things. You snap quicker, you get annoyed faster, you feel like every inconvenience is an attack. You're not becoming a bad person, you're becoming overwhelmed. When your mind is stretched thin, even small problems feel enormous because you don't have the emotional bandwidth to handle them. Think of stress like having 30 tabs open in your mind at all times. One extra tab, no matter how small, feels like too much. That's why the smallest things suddenly irritate you. A notification sound, a slow reply, a messy room, a small mistake, a noise someone makes while eating. These aren't major problems, but your nervous system reacts like they are. It's not that you're angry at these things, you're angry at the pressure building inside you. Stress shrinks your patience and amplifies your reactions. You feel guilty after snapping at people. You apologize. You promise yourself you'll do better next time. But the cycle repeats because you're not dealing with the root problem, the stress quietly building inside your body and mind. The fifth hidden sign you're more stressed than you realize is the sudden urge to isolate yourself. You stop replying to messages. You avoid calls. You don't want to hang out with friends or family. You choose silence over socializing. People start calling you distant, cold, or withdrawn, but they don't understand you're not avoiding them. You're trying to protect your remaining energy. When you are stressed, even social interactions feel exhausting. You prefer being alone not because you dislike people, but because your mind can't handle additional emotional input. This isolation becomes a coping mechanism, a quiet refuge, a way to reduce stimulation when everything feels overwhelming. But isolation is tricky. At first, it feels peaceful, but with time, it becomes lonely, and loneliness makes stress even worse. Without realizing it, you build walls around yourself, thinking they will protect you, but those walls become cages that trap you inside your own thoughts. Stress makes you crave space, and then makes you feel guilty for wanting it. This internal conflict is one of the clearest signs that you're mentally exhausted. Now, here's the deeper truth. Nobody sees these signs from the outside. You can look completely fine. You can smile, work, study, talk, joke, and still be deeply stressed inside. People don't see the nights you can't sleep. They don't see the thoughts racing through your mind. They don't see the pressure on your chest, the heaviness in your shoulders, and the emotional fog clouding your vision. They don't see the exhaustion you feel every morning. Stress hides behind your daily routine, and because life demands you to be fine, you pretend you are. You survive. You push through. You keep going, not because you're strong, but because you feel you have no choice. And that's the dangerous part. When you don't realize you're stressed, you don't slow down. When you don't slow down, your body eventually forces you to, through burnout, anxiety,
or physical illness. Your mind whispers first, with tiredness, forgetfulness, irritability, numbness, withdrawal. But if you ignore those whispers, the stress eventually screams, and once it reaches that stage, recovery becomes harder. That's why awareness is so important. Stress is not something to be ashamed of. It's not something only weak people experience. It affects the strongest minds, the hardest workers, the most responsible people, often even more than others. So what do you do when you recognize these signs in yourself? You don't need a complete lifestyle transformation. You don't need a perfect routine or expensive solutions. What you need first is to pause. Just pause. Give yourself permission to rest without guilt. Give yourself permission to not be productive for a moment. Give yourself permission to breathe without rushing. Sometimes the smallest break resets your entire system. Rest is not a waste of time. Rest is the foundation that allows you to function, grow, and succeed. But beyond rest, you also need honesty with yourself. Ask, am I tired or am I overwhelmed? Am I sad or am I carrying too much? Am I losing interest or am I emotionally exhausted? These questions reveal the truth beneath the surface. Stress thrives in silence. The moment you acknowledge it, it loses power. Don't wait until stress becomes burnout. Listen to the small signals. Your body speaks. Your mind speaks. Don't ignore them. You deserve peace. You deserve rest. You deserve a life where your mind feels light, your body feels energy.
If you love this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to get daily motivation video updates.